Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 18 September 2025. So let's get started with our discussion guys and let us see the first topic. Okay, see the title of this first article guys. Amid tariff rose, PM pushes local production. So this article is talking about what? Okay, so first topic it is about tariff and second one it is about local production. So this article is linking about this US tariff with local production, right? Okay. So let me write these two keywords. First one is tariff. And who are imposing tariffs on India? How much percent? Yes, US is imposing 50% of tariff on our Indian goods, right? So is there any impact on this tariff? Yes, because of this tariffs, it is impact on our Indian economy as a total. So what is that impact? Decreasing of our exports to US, decreasing of production in US, and next one is decreasing of employment opportunity and especially loss of livelihood for many people, right? So because of this, now we have to focus on especially boosting of our domestic production and we have to maintain our exports to other countries, everything. So in this context, our Prime Minister, he made a statement. He said that we have to focus on local production. So let us see this. So tell me from which subject it is important guys. Tariff is important from your GS paper 3 under economy and who is imposing this? US. So it is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations from India-US relations. And here again we are talking about local production and how this local production will boost India. So whenever you are talking about local production, we have to take into account Atmanirbhar Bharat. So what is this Atmanirbhar Bharat? It is nothing but self-sufficient India or self-reliance. Self-reliance means nothing but we have to produce whatever the goods that we need and we have to decrease our imports and we have to especially focus on our domestic industries or local production. Okay, so it is nothing but Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliance, or also we can take one more concept called as made in India concept. And even we can also connect with one more keyword called as vocals for locals. Vocals is nothing but voice for local production. So these things that you can connect, these are the four keywords that you can connect with this local production. Okay, now let us see what exactly this article is talking about. Our Indian Prime Minister addressed a rally in this Dar region of Madhya Pradesh and in this rally he made this statement. He said that yes, we have to focus on local production and consumption and he said one word called as Swadeshi. And even in your modern history also you will be coming across the Swadeshi movement which happened in year 1906. So in 1905 one important event happened in our modern history, that was partition of Bengal. So after that our Indians, they focused on this Swadeshi movement. We want to boycott foreign goods. In the same way now our Prime Minister said that we have to focus on Swadeshi. It is nothing but made in India concept. And he urged all our Indians to prioritize buying the products which are manufactured within our country, and especially we are going to have this festival season soon, right? So we are going to have this Dasra, Diwali, Christmas, different festivals now. So in this festival seasons, so here our Prime Minister is saying that we have to prioritize our Indian made goods. Okay, and he also said that the traders, whoever they are selling, like business people, whoever they are selling their goods, they have to sell the goods which are made in India, made in our country. So that is the thing he mainly said in this rally guys. So if you see details, so he laid foundation for this first PM mega integrated textile region and apparel park in Dar. So as you all know that because of this US 50% of tariff, which sector is going to be affected first? Textiles and apparels. So to protect that textiles and apparels, our government is taking certain step because of this US tariff, that is PM Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel Park. So how you can use this single statement in your answer? Whenever you're getting any question regarding what is the impact of US 50% tariff and what measures government taken to combat that, can you add this or not? So textiles and apparel sector is going to be affected the most. So to protect that sector, our government came up with this PM Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel Park in MP. Like that, at least you have to use this kind of statements. And it will be attracting around 23,000 crore in proposals from 114 textile companies. So if you're coming up with that development of certain region as a textile park or anything, obviously we can attract investments. So we are going to attract around 23,000 crore investment in this area now. And actually the companies are focusing on 5F framework. What is that 5F? Farm to fiber, fiber to factory, to fashion, to foreign. So in this way we are focusing on our developing of our textile industries. Okay, so why this push now? Because of US tariff. As you all know that why this US is imposing tariff on India. First reason is for trade balance. It wants to focus on this protectionist policy. It wants to protect its own domestic industries. And apart from that, US came up with this Russian Sanction Act, under which additional 25%, totally 50% of tariff are imposing by this US on Indian goods, right? And because of that, we are focusing on improving of our competency in India. And next one here is we want to focus on self-reliance, especially because of this trade wars, because of sudden pandemics like COVID-19 recently. So there are disruptions in supply chain. There is no proper supply of the goods which are happening because of this uncertainties. So we want to make trade proper. We want to develop our own industries. So for that reason, we are taking this step. And next one is we have to protect our key sectors like farmers. So here cotton is one important raw material for our textiles, and India is known for this good production or good quality of cotton, right? So for especially protecting of farmers and to ensure their income and to stand against external pressures, everything we have to strengthen certain sectors. So for this, government is taking certain steps. Clear? And say this next article, guys. Title says European Union India partnership set for upgrade. So what does this title mean? It is about India European Union trade relations, right? Okay, so the key word that you have to see is India EU relations, European Union relations. From which subject we can see this, guys? Yes, again from GS paper 2 under international relations we can see, and you have to see some basic facts regarding this European Union, where it is located and which countries are part of this European Union. That is again important from your GS1 under geography. You have to open your atlas and see locations of these countries, guys. Very, very important. Okay, so now let us see why it is in news. So here European Commission and European Union High Representative released one agenda. Please make a note of it. It is a new strategic European Union India agenda. Very, very important. So lots of geopolitics are there behind coming of this. Okay, so here it is talking about a new strategic European Union India agenda, and through this agenda we want to improve our bilateral relations. Okay, now let us come back here and tell me what is happening across the world, with which countries India is having good relations and with which countries we are having deviations of relations in the recent past. Okay, so India, Russia are good friends. But because of this Russian Sanction Act, there is some uncertainties in India-Russia relations. And what about US after this Donald Trump came into power? That is in this Trump 2.0 era. Do we have good relations? No, again. So that means there is some vacuum that is created between India, US and India, Russia, right? And if there is any vacuum, what happens? So some other country will come and try to fill that gap. So here European Union and European countries, they have a chance now to fill that gap. So because of this, they came up with this European Union India agenda now. Okay, so they want to improve furthermore relationship and they want to fill this gap which is created by this geopolitical tensions now. Okay, so now let us see what they are going to do under this agenda. What are the important things they are saying? So first one is they want to accelerate. So till today they were like very slow pace of finalizing of this free trade agreement. Now actually here India is losing market, US market for Indian exports, right? So there is some gap. So here European Union wants to fill that gap by accelerating, by speeding up of this process of free trade agreement. What is this free trade agreement? So whenever we are signing the agreement between two countries, for example, a bilateral agreement, then what happens? There will be no tariffs. So because of this, there will be the free access of goods and free movement of goods between the countries, right? So here they want to speed up this free trade agreement and they want to come up with a conclusion by the end of this 2025, guys. And actually, we are going to have talks between India and European Union from October 6th to October 10th. Okay, and after this talks by the end of this 2025 we are going to finalize that, so India can have access to this European markets now for improving of the trade. And next one is we want to focus on increasing of investment flows. If foreign country investments are coming to our India, so normally we have two types, right? FII and FDI. FI is nothing but foreign institutional investments or foreign portfolio investments, and FDI is nothing but foreign direct investment. And which is a good investment? FDI, foreign direct investment, because they will stay for the long period of time, and not only that, they will contribute for our country's economy, and even they will bring technology improvement, development as well. Okay, so because of this, if we are enhancing or if these countries are coming with more FDI in our country, then obviously what happens? There will be a long-term balance or long-term relations between the countries. That thing we are expecting. And this one is we want to focus on supply chains. That is nothing but the routes, and we are focusing on expanding of whatever the joint defense projects that we are having with European countries. For example, with France, we have lots of agreements, right? In the same way with other countries also, we are going to increase our defense technology, trade, green hydrogen, decarbonization, research, innovation, air transport. In these areas, we want to improve our relations. And this one here is we are also focusing on improving of defense and security partnership. So how we are having agreements with this Japan and South Korea. In the same way, we are also going to have agreements with this Europe. So all these things that we are going to talk in this October meet. So what are the reasons why we are coming up with this kind of agenda now? As I said, the first one is India is moving somewhat away from this Russia because of this Russian Sanction Act. So because of this, they want to improve their deeper ties, and it will also offer a chance for filling of this vacuum. And next one here is even there is increased concern of India because of this Russia's oil purchase since 2022, and even we are also having good relationship with European Union, and we are also having certain military exercises between India and European Union called Japan, like that. And next one here is, as you all know, that US President Donald Trump also imposing around 50% of tariff on India, and they're also going to increase in future for 100% tariffs. So because of this, obviously there will be the diversions or disruptions in the relationship between India and US. So this is also an important chance. And not only that, actually India is also trying to diversify its supply chains where it is getting raw materials. India don't want to depend on a single or two countries, because if there is any trade tensions, if they stop these exports, then obviously our entire economy will be getting under trouble, right? So here because of this, we want to diversify the supply chains and we want to reach other countries. So that is also one important reason. Yeah, that's it. And see this image, guys. What can you see here? Some saints wearing red color. So normally, who will wear red color dress? Which devotees will wear? Mother goddess, like female goddess devotees will be wearing red color. You know this. So actually, these are the devotees who are chanting some prayers, and they are on the way to Mata Vaishno Devi shrine. Okay. And this shrine, this temple is located in this Jammu and Kashmir, guys. So if you're getting this kind of things that you have to know. And why they are going now, the reason here is what happened in this Jammu and Kashmir recently, landslides, cloudburst. So because of this, many pilgrims, they had been stuck down in this landslides and as well as flash floods in this region. And finally again they opened this temple after 22 days. So till from last 22 days onwards, there is no movement of the pilgrims because of the fear, and even government authorities stopped this entry of pilgrims into temple. And after 22 days, they again reopened this temple, and now pilgrims are going to this temple. So because of this, they are chanting some prayers and on this way to this Vaishno Devi temple. And you have to know about some details of this temple, guys. Very important. And if you say about this Mata Vaishno Devi temple, it is located in Trikuta mountains and it is in Resi district of Jammu and Kashmir. Always you will see this Resi district because of infiltration, terror organizations and violence in this region, especially it is a border region between India and Pakistan. So always that will be in the news. Okay. So normally in this area at the height of 5,200 feet this temple is located, and to reach this temple they have to go on trekking, right? So in this mountain areas they have to walk by using some instruments, so that is called as trekking. So they have to trek 13 kilometers to reach this shrine. And actually it is one of the most important Hindu pilgrimage center. And here we have goddess Vaishno Devi. It is nothing but Mahakali or Mahalakshmi or Mahasaraswati, whatever the name you call, that is our mother goddess. And it is also one of the important Shakti Peeth. You know this Shakti Peeth? So it is one important Shakti Peeth, and it is the second most visited Shakti Peeth in India. And you can't imagine, like around 8 to 10 million people per year they will go to this temple. So that much craze this temple has. Okay, and if you see about ancient origins of this temple, it is linked to Mahabharata. It is discovered by Pandit Sridhar in 15th century itself. And yeah, that's it. No need of remembering this. And actually we have three sacred rocks reside in this region. So actually this diet is made up of rock in this region. Okay, let's see this next article, very important article of the day. Title says EVMs to have color photos of candidates soon, says EC. What is this article it is talking about? What is EVM? What is full form? Okay, voting machine. Now it is going to have color photos of candidates. So here this article is very important from your polity point of view. In your polity you have topic called as elections, electoral reforms. Even if you read your Lakshmikant book, there is a separate chapter of electoral reforms, right? So in that reforms book you have to add this point. We are also going to come up with color photos in our EVMs. So how many of you casted your vote? So how this electronic voting machine will be, you have some idea, right? What can you see there? Symbol of that political party. And next, name, and you can see the number also. Next, button to press, and after pressing button beep sound. Okay, next. So actually we are going to come up with some reforms. So this article is saying that we are going to have color photos of candidates. Is that useful or not? How it is useful? So where it is useful? In urban areas, everyone at least they know what to read and write. They are literate. But what about rural areas? Just they will have symbolic memory, right? So if they see the image, then they can easily identify. And that too, what happened in rural areas, if they are like old people, they will be having this issue of visual things. So if every image is in black and white, they can't directly connect to that. So because of this, they are going to have color photos of this candidates now. So is that step useful, guys? How it is useful? Increasing of transparency, increasing of better choice for the people. Next, they will directly vote for the person to whom they want to vote. what happens, do you know, normally in the electoral campaigns, every political party will be bringing this model of this EVM, and they will show press this only, like that. Do you know this? Remember this symbol, like lotus flower, car, or hand, like that. So because of this, sometimes we don't know who is the candidate from that so and so political party who is going to stand. Only they'll say that party symbol, remember that, and you have to vote. But they don't know like who is the contestant from that political party. Many a times, you yes or no. So even when you cast your vote, do you know who is the candidate from that political party who is contesting there? You people only not knowing, but what about them? So here now onwards, we are going to have that person who is going to contest from that political party along with that political symbol. There is the color photo of that person. So because of this, at least you will be having awareness that to whom you vote. Okay. So this article is very, very important, guys. Now let us see the context. Election Commission of India announced revised guidelines under 40 and 49B Rule of Conduct of Elections Rules 1961. Please make a note of this act. Conduct of Election Rules 1961. Under this, we are going to change this Rule 49B. So while you are writing electoral reforms, wherever we are changing the things, you have to add exactly where you are doing the changes and what you are inserting, guys. Very important. Without this, it will be like a blind answer. Okay. So we are going to change certain guidelines under Rule 49B of Conduct of Election Rule 1961, and in that rules we are going to change the design and printing of EVMs, ballot papers. And now these changes, they are mainly helpful for making more readable, more voter friendly, and also it is a significant update to our EVM system now. So let us see what changes that we are going to come. The first one is color photographs of candidates. So for the first time, candidate photos will be printed in color on EVM ballot paper, and they gave certain size. And in that photo also, 3/4 of that photo will be covered by the face because of clear visibility. And next one here is serial numbers. Normally, we have serial numbers, and last we have nota. What is this nota? None of the above. So if you are going for voting for none of the above, is that valid? It is no. Actually, there is no use of this nota. And they are going to give the serial numbers now for each and every political party. At last, we have this nota. And next one here is all candidate names and the nota option. They will use the same font now with same clear visibility. Okay, and why we are coming up with this change? The primary motivation behind this change is we have to improve the clarity and readability and voter friendliness of EVM ballot papers. Okay, especially in this previous format, we used to have like black and white and even very small font size, and even serial number is not at all even visible in some ballot papers. So because of this, we want to come up with this change. And next one is we want to reduce the confusion among the people, especially most of these rural area people. They are illiterate, and even they have problem of reading and writing, and they can't even interpret what are the numbers, everything there. So to make it clear and to reduce the confusion, we are coming up with this. And color photos are intended to aid quick visual identification. We can identify them visually fast, especially for illiterate and semi-literate voters. And even we are going to use bold letters now so that the visibility is clear. Okay, so that we can enhance this voter confidence, and even we can improve technology in this EVMs also now. So like that, we can ensure inclusivity. Okay. See this article, guys. What is this saying? First batch of Hilsa fish from Bangladesh reaches India. So very, very important. Have you heard this pulasa? So what is the specialty of this pulsa fish? Especially AP people know this. It is costly. What is the cost of this pulsa fish normally? 20,000. 20,000 per fish or per kg? How many fishes will come for a kg? Okkatena. One fish is like 3 kgs. No. అప్పుడు ఎట్లా వస్తాయి? not. Okay, sizes ఉంటాయా పెద్ద పెద్దవి కాదా? Okay, let it be. Okay, so in which region we can see this fish? So can we get this fish throughout year? In which season? Tell me, Akash. This season at 8, a season peru. In rainy season, you'll get this. Why only in rainy season you'll get this? Why not in summer or winter? Huh? Why? What is the season called as? Breeding season. Very good. So normally what happens is, so this is Bay of Bengal, right? And this is Bangladesh. And here we have river Krishna and Godavari, and here we have river Mahanadi, Ganga, Brahmaputra, right? Lad? Yes. So actually, do you know the movement of fish? How the fish will move? So if the water is moving in this direction, so fish will be moving in opposite direction. That is the reason. That's the basic thing that you have to know. So normally, if you are from fishing community or if you have certain idea about this fish, you know. So before my marriage, I don't know nothing about agriculture, nothing about fishing or anything. Just I was like a bookish person, and I came from a family that I used to not to go outside also, like very limited exposure. But after marriage, I came to know how they sow, how the transplantation happens, because my husband family is entirely from agriculture, and they know they have the vast knowledge about the nature. But I inbuilt, I don't know nothing actually. So actually, how this movement of fish happens is, so whenever the rain happens, whenever the rainfall happens, what happens? The excess water, they will be moving out, right? So whenever the water is moving out, so fishes, they will move in the opposite direction. They will think that yes, water is coming from there. I have to go to that place so that I will be having the vast expansion and my life is like secure like that. They'll think and they will move in the opposite direction. So actually, what happens here is now we are in monsoon season. What happens in monsoon season in India? Yes, good rainfall. So because of this good rainfall, the water flow in the rivers will be obviously more, right? So they will be going in this direction. They will be joining in this Bay of Bengal. So water flow is more, so that these fishes will enter into the rivers now. Okay. So actually, normally here in this Bay of Bengal, we can see this hilsa fish, but only in this rainy season, normal in the monsoon season, and this season is also the breeding season of this hilsa. So they will enter from these oceans into river water for breeding, and what we'll do, we'll catch them and we'll eat them. Okay, so this is about the how this hilsa fish will come, and normally only in this monsoon season, which is like breeding season, they'll come into the rivers, and mostly 70% of hilsa fish can be identified in this Bangladesh, guys. So very less amount seen in this AP region, especially in this Godavari river. But hilsa fish is majorly found in this Bangladesh. Apart from this Bangladesh, here whatever the countries are there in this area also we can found this, but very less percent. So because of this, we'll get the imports of this hilsa fish from Bangladesh mostly. Okay, so now let us see about this fish. Okay, if you say about this fish, it is a fish species, belongs to Clupidae family. No need of remembering this, and it is also called as Ilish, which hold an exceptional position in culinary customs and social practice of Bengal. So this fish is like very costly, very precious, and actually there is one famous quote: "Appu chesaina sare pulsa tinari." What is that, Akash? Tilida? AP students. Something will be there, something we have to do that. Chesaina sare tinochu. That means they will give that much priority for this hilsa fish. Ayyo. Okay, and it is a fish that is highly priced because of its delicate flavor, distinct taste, and silky texture. But even today, I didn't taste that. The students who might have taste, they can experience about that taste. Yeah. Tinnam, Akash? It is found in the rivers and estuaries in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Myanmar, and as well as Persian Gulf area, and this can live in both saltwater and freshwater. And most of the time, this fish will spend its lifetime in the ocean itself. But only when it is a time to lay the eggs or breeding, they will swim up to the rivers, and this is called as migration. And it will travel into rivers like Padma and Meghna in Bangladesh. And even in Indian rivers also we can see like Ganges river and Godavari river. And Bangladesh produces 70% of its fish, and from there it will transport to different countries. And actually Bangladesh is having good economy from this hilsa fish. Around 12 percentage of its fish caught in the country, which adds around 1% of GDP. So normally what is GDP of India, total GDP? Around 7.5, right? So here Bangladesh 1% of GDP comes from this fish. You can understand how good it is in this hilsa fish. Okay, so let us see other articles, guys. Title says Letter and Spirit. So this is about the Supreme Court did well to stay and uphold different Waqf Act provisions. So did we discuss this article? In yesterday's class, we discussed about this, right? So what are the changes that we made in this Waqf Act of 2025? So recently in the month of August, we came up with the changes. What are the changes? The first one is now district collector is is responsible for deciding whether that property is a work or not. And next one is we removed work by user. Work by user is nothing but in some villages they'll be using that land for mosque or like dargah for years, but there is no registration. But just by using that they'll consider that this is a work property. So they removed this work by user provision. And next, in this work board, we have to include non-Muslims. There is nothing but Hindus or other people. And next, there is a for sure proper registration of this work properties. And next one is if any Muslim wants to donate property, he should practice at least 5 years of Islam. So these are the changes that we made. So why we made these changes suddenly in 2025? Okay, so what is the reason here is from 2013 to 2024. In this 2013, they have just around 9.6 lakh acres under this WAC, and by 2024 it reached to 20.92 lakh acres, and now it is the third largest lands in India which belongs to this work. So first one is railways, second one is defense, and third one is this work. So even Hindu temples are many, but Hindu temples area is not coming. It is not beating this Muslims area. So here the reason here is illegal occupying. That is nothing but kabja. We'll call this word kabja. Illegal occupying of these areas. That too by waqf by user. So that means based on the use, from years onwards we are traditionally using that land for that. So it comes under work, but there is no proper papers, proper registration of that work. So here because of this we want to control illegal occupying of the areas which are under government. So because of this in 2025 we came up with this act and we came up with those changes. And what Supreme Court did, why Supreme Court came up here? So many Muslims, many activists, they said that it is violating which article? Yesterday or day before yesterday I said article 26, right? Article 26 talks about managing of religious places, denominations. Okay, so finally Supreme Court entered and Supreme Court said that yes, in those changes some we can accept, some we have to give the stay. So which things they had been stayed? First one is district collector. It is not the authority of district collector, it is the authority of judge or a court. And they said that non-Muslims, who are they? No clarity. Let us keep it aside. And next one is Islam. They have to practice 5 years of Islam. On which law you are saying about that? So how can we know that whether they are practicing Islam from 5 years or not? So they kept these 3 provisions aside. And what they continued? Yes, they abolished, they removed this work by user. We should not go for work by user. And next one is proper registration. Registration made mandatory that if that property is donated by any Muslims to work, within 6 months there should be the proper registration. And next one more thing what they said. If there is any property which is under dispute, they should not buy or sell that till the final judgment done, right? So these are the things which mainly said, the same thing, nothing more than that. And see this article, genocide in Gaza, India should speak up against Israel's atrocities. So why it is in news? Recently, United Nations panel said that yes, there is a genocide in Gaza. So what does this genocide convention says? 5 important points. What are they? Killing of that people, stopping of mental and physical injuries. ఇంకా చెప్పండి. Very good. Preventing births. Revise that. So out of that 5, we have 4 in this, right? So because of this, they said that yes, genocide is happening in this Gaza. And here, in this article, they are especially saying that Israel is supported by different countries, guys. So do we have good relations with Israel? So can India go against Israel? Yes or no? So actually we have US. US is a big power now, right? After this Trump 2.0 era came, everywhere, wherever you see, Trump is like rising. In every TV channel, every day there will be articles and speeches of Trump. So actually Israel is backed by US. US supports Israel. And earlier India US is having good relations. Obviously India will be supporting Israel, right? So actually we used to get good defense from Israel. So which missile we are getting from Israel? Any idea? Barak. Barak is a missile that we are getting from Israel. So actually this article is saying that European countries especially European countries, they are recognizing Palestinian sovereignty and they are condemning this kind of attacks by Israel on Palestine. So recently, are we improving relations with these European countries? Yes, European Union, India agenda is coming up, right? So again, it will be having influence on Indian foreign policy on Israel now. And next one here is actually US is shielding Israel. Israel is supported by US. That is one cause of concern across India. But Europe says that we should start treating Israel as what it has become, as a rogue state. Europe is condemning this kind of incidents. But on another side, US is shielding this Israel. And actually once upon a time, India also a strong champion of Palestinian cause, because India always focus on peace and security. So here, if there is loss of life of women, children, and people are dying, means will India say okay for it? No. So actually earlier India used to support this Palestinian, but because of influence of US, so we are changing our foreign policy. And now this article is saying that India should focus and India should speak about this genocide, and we have to use its leverage to bring this war to an end. So now this article is saying that yes, India earlier supported Palestinian cause, but in the recent times India is not talking about this. So India has to take some steps to end up this war. So think about this issue, and in your IR classes they will be saying clearly about why Israel, why other countries are involving here, what is their interest, what is their conflict, everything. Okay, so as of now, remember that Israel-Palestine issue is going on, and Israel is attacking these Palestinians and they are killing these people. And because of that, what is happening here? United Nations declared that it is a genocide, and Israel is supported by US, and European Union and European countries are against this Israel. And actually earlier India also one of the champion of Palestinian cause, but it had been reframed. So now we have to talk about this. That is, this article is talking about. Clear? So these are some important topics that happened in our today's Hindi newspaper, guys. By this I am concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class and share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathod Science Academy. And if you want to get this PDF of this class, you can join the Telegram channel. Link is given in the description box. Don't forget. And one more thing here is, you can also follow us on our Instagram, where we are providing prelims question with answer and mains question with modal answer and also current affairs in short. And if you are Telugu students, we are also providing current affairs in shorts in our Instagram and even in our Telugu YouTube channel, guys. You can follow us. Thank you so much.